open to so many that are available just through the organizations, this week, having talked to other people. So those are the things that we're trying to next is to build out that pathway for those kids so that they are delivered to a pathway should they choose it. Mm-hmm. I do want to emphasize, though, that it's not always on the flight deck. We try to go to great lengths to expose them to any other career opportunity. One of the people giving us a tour of the Madison Airport said, "Hey, up here in the administrative offices, it's like a corporation. You have HR, you have accounting, but you can work at the airport." So we try to emphasize that you can be connected to aviation and have something that doesn't sound like an aviation job.
Right. Very, very good. Yeah, a lot of times we kind of keep that aviation bubble with pilots, mechanics, flight attendants, that air traffic control. But there is a wide variety of methods that you can be involved in aviation and not necessarily have to pilot an airplane.
I walked over. We had our kids, some of our Youth Aviation Club kids, up on Thursday. Unfortunately, because of an illness of one of our board members, they were going to come up for the night air show on Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, falling into what happens. They were going to come see the night air show and then camp with the South Africans.
Oh, okay.
They had made friends with one of our board members, and they were completely welcoming. Yeah, we got tents for you and everything. So the welcoming of EAA was going to be rolled out to them. But they came up Thursday. We walked around. I took them over to the Air Force tent to see some people are doing research in away from the flight line. Say, hey, this is something, because we have a lot of kids that are interested in engineering and things like that. So it was great to kind of show them, look at this display building, a building B, C, A. All these things support aviation in some way, and there's a pathway for you.
What is next for the Academy? What you mentioned, trying to get that pathway, but
right. I think the next for us is it's kind of internal. It's kind of behind the scenes, and that is to really get more volunteers and board members so that, one, we have better community outreach, and two, that the kids have some really, great opportunities are available at the touch of a button. And also because some of us are in Japan while trying to plan a camp. And so those are the things that I think we are working on next for the kids. And also we got some great suggestions on just things that they could do. They were suggested to us that we could take them to see or do. With one kid said, "I want more hands-on." So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's really good that they're embracing not just the wowie zowie stuff, but they want to kind of get their fingers into stuff. So we're excited to kind of build those programs.
Very good. Describe your board of directors. Large board or small?
It's about 5 right now. We have some open seats. Our founders are myself, Susan Schwab, who's a retired United Airlines captain, and the other is Mike Griffin, who's a retired Delta Airlines. He's a board emeritus now. But we also have he's a local pilot, but he's a VP of a home products company. He's our treasurer, and then we have a woman who is aviation enthusiast, but she's a legal counsel for in the Madison area and so on. And we are looking for other people. The nice thing is that our graduation party, we had some parents come forward who have some really good connections to the community that were interested in serving. So those are the kind of people we want, because that can enhance how we deliver our services to the kids and find the right kids in the community.
All right. Well, we have to take one big step back, though. And what's the genesis of the name?
So Willa Brown Aviation Academy comes from Willa Beatrice Brown. She came from Kentucky. She was the first pilot or African American woman pilot to get a U.S. pilot's license. Bessie Coleman got her first one in France. She got her A&P first before that. This is in the late 30s. She married a gentleman named Cornelius Coffey. They started a flight school in the Chicago area, and they trained a lot of the Tuskegee Airmen in their basics, aviation basics, basic flight training. They went off to Tuskegee, and so she is responsible for a lot of the red tail pilots. And so then she went on, she became the first first officer in the Civil Air Patrol, African-American woman. So she was an activist, she was a school teacher in the Chicago area, and she served out first African-American woman to serve on an FAA advisory committee. So a great life. We're inspired, and their family is still in touch with us and has supported us all the way.
Very good. If people would like more information about the Academy, how they can support it, volunteer, how can they find you?
willowflight.org. We're also on all the social media channels. Still trying to figure out TikTok, but we'll get it.
I know, it's kind of old for us old guys. Yeah. Anyway. Fareed, thank you for taking some time to be with us today. Fareed Gio from the Willow Brown Aviation Academy. And, by the way, you'll hear Fareed and Eric White tomorrow. Cleared for departure. They're going to do commentary here from the deck as everybody is blasting off for home from AirVenture.
Yeah.
This is Eaa Radio.
Here's one from AirVenture Oshkosh 2022.
Welcome back to Squawk 1200. I'm Fareed Gio, along with...
I'm Paul Prydecker. We had a great guest this previous session and so many opportunities for youth. And one of the best things about doing this is hearing about people's adventures. And you've had an adventure, is that correct?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
The voice you're hearing is David Pedersen, and he is documenting his first time flying into Oshkosh.
That is right. So I live in Ottawa in Canada, and flying to Oshkosh from Ottawa, I know people that have done it, and there's a lot of research that needs to be done. And so I thought, I would like to have this guide laid out for me. This is what I need to think about. This is what I need to do. And so as I was researching, I was just collecting data, and I started recording YouTube videos.
So you actually became an instructor without knowing it. Is that correct?
Yeah, in one way, absolutely. Yeah.
You, how'd you feel about putting out that information, knowing that other people may be relying on you?
Yeah,
even though that's not smart sometimes.
Yeah, I actually thought about that, and I was slightly concerned about that because you never know, right? I questioned information as well. So I tried to add resources in the video descriptions to make sure that whatever I was saying in the video was backed up by a reference somewhere, so people could go and research that stuff on their own.
Talk about a little bit about your pilot training, where you originated, and how you came into having your airplane.
So I always dreamt about flying. When I was a kid, just like everyone here, right? You think about planes, you want to become a pilot.
We're still kids. Yeah.
And it was out of reach when I was 16. I was looking at a glider license. I grew up in Sweden. And when I was 26, I met a good colleague of mine who was also a pilot. And he tried to encourage me to get my pilot's license. 10 years went by, and when I was 36, I took it up, and I got an ultralight pilot license in Sweden. Fast forward 2019, I arrived in Canada. My license didn't convert, and so I got my PPL in 2019 in Canada.
And you have a Cherokee 2 or 3? I was just watching some of your videos, and I can't remember.
So I own half of a Piper Cherokee Archer 2. It's a 1979. It's in fairly good condition. I think I just passed 3,800 hours total time on it.
Oh, wow.
So now you wanted to document your travels into Oshkosh first time, and obviously you're coming from another country. What are some things that always seem to tell people when they ask you about this?
So I think the first thing is flying long cross countries, like the amount of preparation that actually goes into it. You think that you're well prepared, and then you learn a new thing, and then you need to just keep on researching. So I just recommend go into the research. I think for me there were two big challenges. It was the border crossing from Canada into the US and all of the paperwork that needs to get done and all of that stuff. And the other part was obviously flying in US airspace, which is not radically different from Canadian, but different from Canadian airspace.
Well, I think was it in the middle 90s we finally harmonized with the rest of the world how we classified our airspace?
We tried.
We tried. Even if the dimensions are kind of the same as it was before.
Yeah.
So where did you enter? Where did you cross the border?
So as a result of putting out this YouTube video, I actually met a person called Dan. He also lives in Ottawa, and so we were two pilots flying. I didn't end up flying on my own. I'm very, very happy about that in retrospect. We took off Carp Airport just outside of Ottawa. We had bad weather. We were going to fly over the lakes, hit Sault Ste. Marie, but we had to delay our takeoff. and we actually flew south of the lakes instead. So we flew over Toronto, went to London, did the border crossing in Port Huron, and then navigated around Detroit and Chicago and came up on the on the west
way
side.
south. Because the reason that I saw your video and you had that all planned out, and now it's completely different from.
It is. Yeah. So that's one thing that happens, right? Cross countries and VFR. If we had an instrument rating and IFR classified plane, this would have been much easier. But that's VFR for you.
So you must have had some impressions of coming into Oshkosh. You know, on the one hand, you're still in command of this aircraft, and on the other hand, you must be astounded at everything you're seeing.
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
I think the moment it actually hit me was when both Dan and I were approaching the Endeavour Bridge, and we were seeing all of these dots in the sky with all of these airplanes coming around, and then it was for real, and it was tight. I've never flown that close to another aircraft, and that was. I was like eyes on and super focused, and we were both really engaged in this flying.
We're speaking with David Pedersen, 2 T's, 2 S's. Check out his YouTube channel as he documents his arrival into Oshkosh. I just realized by watching an ADSB time lapse that the NOTAM the routing has changed even further west. Talk a little bit about that and how you had to plan that so that, fuel wise. Where was your last stop before you made the final run?
Our final, we decided that we would land. What was it called? Dodge County.
Dodge County.
Dodge County.
Yeah, where I used to instruct there.
Oh, okay, cool. So uniform, November uniform. Right? Yeah, that's right. And we were in good company. There were many other pilots there, and so we waited for the 6:30 opening of the airspace. Got our stuff ready, and we were full tanks, and so we expected about 45 minutes, but I think it took a little bit longer because we tried to circle around.
One of the things that I think is universal, like every year, certainly from an instructor standpoint, is practicing before you fly in, especially slow flight and changing configurations as needed to maintain spacing. Did you do any of that?
Yeah, so
without putting you on the spot.
I did. That was one of the local EAA chapter 245. Many of the pilots there gave me some solid advice, so I did some practicing, trying to nail airspeeds and things like that. And I also flew SimVenture with Pilot Edge and the flight simulator, and that was actually very valuable. I did all runways, all configurations. A lot of fun.
How did you find working with the controllers? Was it okay? Was it a little intimidating?
The ones here at AirVenture?
Yeah.
I think the SimVenture experience really prepared me for that. You hear like they're really engaged, they're speaking really fast, they want you to do things. So I would like to think that I was pretty ready for it after spending a few hours with it last weekend.
And which runway did you land on?
36 left.
Which part of it?
Yellow dot.
Yellow dot. Here's a little bit of history. They used to have a Nordo or a no radio arrival as well, right in the middle of everything else. They've flushed it about 15 years ago, but it lasted it was deep into the 90s. I think they still had a no radio. They try to accommodate anyway, and that's the amazing part of this.
Yes, I'm super impressed by the controllers that they stay calm given like the intensity of the traffic, and it's nice. They're like, I would say they're authoritative, and people do what they ask, what they're asked to do.
And they're friendly.
Yeah, super friendly, and just incredibly impressed.
You mentioned that you had to abandon the northern route and you went down, you swung through the Chicago area and coming up. In one of your videos, it talked about you only had ADSB in, and so you had some challenges as where exactly you could go.
Yeah.
How much more did you have to pour over the charts in order to work this route out?
It was with the help of ForeFlight. This was actually pretty easy, but we probably added, I don't know, another 100 nautical miles to the trip. So we were speaking to Chicago Approach coming around Chicago, and actually one of the controllers there said, like, I think you can go direct to Kunu now. And we were like, no, I'm sorry, we don't have ADSB out. Okay, gotcha.
So what's your exit strategy? When are you leaving?
Well, weather first. We'll see what happens there. We're hoping for north, but we'll see how that goes. We are going to brief it, I don't know, tomorrow perhaps, or on Friday start briefing and looking at the weather forecasts.
Tell us a little bit more about some of the videos you're putting out.
So I've always been interested in aviation, and I want to have, so there's lots of great aviation content out there, and I think what the kind of content that I would like to share is more instructional, or like how would a fairly low time pilot like myself, I have about 200 hours, how I navigate and just share those experiences so that others that will come after me can see like this is how I'm thinking about things and these are things to consider.
What so obviously you're in the Ottawa area, which is Canada population wise is relatively dense in the eastern part.
Yeah.
Where does it start to get sparse? Have you been west a lot, or?
I would say outside of the like even flying west of Ottawa, if you're 1-2 hours out, there's just lakes and forests. And so when we did the planning for the northern route, we were looking at North Bay, which is there's almost nothing there. There are just a few strips, and so I think it's enough that you actually fly 1 or 2 hours from a densely populated area.
Well, David, I want to let you know that I've noticed that you really took safety into consideration through all this, and that's one of the most outstanding messages you're communicating, is that you really took time to prepare and make this a successful event. Yeah,
I hear a lot of people have asked us how much planning has gone into this. And there's been many hours. I've consulted a lot of people just trying to gain the experience of the community and understand what's good to do and what's not good to do.
And that's what we ask all people to do. David, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Enjoy
Our guest has
back.
been David Pedersen, who is a private pilot from Canada. His first trip in Oshkosh is documented on his YouTube channel. You're listening to Eaa Radio.
Here's one from AirVenture Oshkosh 2024.
Our next guest is General Duke Richardson. He's the commander of Air Force Material Command at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Welcome to the show, sir.
No, thank you. It's good to be here.
Is that your big airplane out there?
No, I wish. Yes.
The one with the right pad on the tail? But explain a little bit about the Material Command and what's all involved in your world.
Yeah, Material Command is the command that, the title kind of is pretty descriptive. So we provide all the material, and that's material with an E at the end, not an A. And so if you think about all the fighters, the bombers, all of the conventional weapons, all the nuclear weapons, all the cargo aircraft, all the tanker aircraft, all the subsystems, all the navigational aids, all the communications equipment, even the uniform that I'm wearing. Air Force Material Command does all that. So we do that through 6 centers. We've got a laboratory, the Air Force Research Laboratory. They're responsible for invention, basic research. We have what's called program offices and program executive officers, and they are the folks that design, develop, produce those systems. We have something called the Test Center, which is certainly near and dear to what we're doing here today. They test that equipment because very often we're the only ones that are buying the stuff that we're developing, and so we need to test our own stuff. And then we have the Sustainment Center, and the Sustainment Center does a lot of heavy maintenance, supply support, software support, repair of commodities, all the boxes that are on the airplanes. That's actually our largest center. And then the last center we have is the Installation and Mission Support Center. And so if you generate all that equipment, you have to bed it down somewhere. And so the Installation and Mission Support Center, they really take care of all of our bases, not just Air Force Material Command bases, but all Air Force bases. And so it's a big job. We've got about 90,000 people in the command. We're about 80% of that are civilians. And so what many folks may not realize is Air Force Material Command is largely a civilian-led or run organization, and so we've got a lot of civilians that do that work for us, which is really important because they're very technically steeped and they provide that continuity for us. So they don't, they're not required as much to move around like the uniformed airmen are.
Sure. So with the civilian aspect of Material Command, is that working with companies, or are these individuals actually part of the command?
So they're part of the command, so these are government employees, and they are definitely working with the companies. And so we call it the Defense Industrial Base. And so, it's a national asset, if you will, collectively. But it ranges everything from I won't list them, so that folks don't get their feelings hurt, so to speak. But it ranges from the largest companies that you might think of to small companies, and so we work with all companies of all sizes. And we have engineers, we have program managers, we have contracting officers, we have financial managers, we have logisticians, and so we try to have technical parity with the companies that we're working with, so that we know as much about what they're doing for us as they do. And so it's a very tight working relationship with the defense industrial base.
Very good. What kind of research goes into what you're doing?
So it runs the gamut. So everything from new air vehicle designs, blended wing bodies, for example, to engines, to microelectronics, the bits that are actually inside the boxes. Yeah. To hypersonic weapons, to there's to human machine interface work. There's very little that we don't touch. To quantum, to position, navigation, timing. We've got work going on across pretty much anything that you can think of.
We're talking with General Duke Richardson, Commander of Air Force Materiel Command. Has AI, artificial intelligence, started to play a role in the command?
So we're definitely experimenting with that. So we've got a number of things. Of course, that's a sort of a hot topic right now in terms of ethical use of AI. And I think decisions in terms of weapons employment are always going to be made by human. But there's a lot of ways that AI can actually help guide those decisions and present information. And so we're definitely using that in a lot of areas. Even you'd be surprised. There's a lot of things that can do for us, even in acquisition work, in terms of generative AI and a lot of the paperwork that we do. Right. So we're definitely very much looking pretty heavily at AI. Absolutely.
Well, and with AI, I've seen. I understand the human element, the ethical element in that, but it's really good at taking large amounts of data and putting out answers for you that would take people like you and I quite a bit of time to go through and research and catalog.
Yes, exactly. And so there's a lot of promise there all across. I think we're just really scratching the surface. I mean, along with the nation, we're going through it, but we're trying to do it obviously in a very ethical, purposeful way. So not just using AI for the sake of it's a cool buzzword, right, but making sure that where we use it, in fact, we're working on a plan right now to make sure that where we use it isn't just ethical, but is geared towards getting to a meaningful military capability, not just experimenting with it.
You have a background as an avionics technician, correct? How did you get into that field?
It's really kind of simple. As an 18, I guess I was 17 when I went to the recruiting office. Okay. I basically took an aptitude test, and as all new recruits do, and I guess I had a penchant for electronics and that sort of thing. And so the Air Force, I enlisted in the Air Force at 18 years of age, and I didn't quite have a job yet. They said, hey, we're going to bring you in, and all we can promise you is that you're going to be working in electronics, some form of electronics. Once I went through basic training and came out, that's when they sent me to technical school to become a communications, navigations, aircraft mechanic, basically.
How have you seen the evolution of the Air Force in your career?
The Air Force, I think, that's a the Air Force has really changed. I mean, I would say, in a number of good ways. I think the Air Force is always striving to be to this ideal state, and I feel like we're getting ever closer there. Probably the biggest change that I would mention is just in the equipment that we're using. So, when we had when I came in, I actually worked on the T-37 and T-38. By the way, we still fly the T-38, so we tend to keep our systems for a very long time. A lot of the early systems during when I first enlisted were not nearly as connected as they are today. I mean, if you think about an F-15, I mean, it was basically a fighter jet that went fast that had a radar on it.
Right.
But now you think about even today's F-15, it's so connected with sensors, with off-board sensors. And so just the complexity of the systems that we're developing. And really what we're trying to do going forward is we now have the ability to develop very complex fighters and bombers and cargo and trainers and even executive airlift for the president airplanes. There's a great effort underway now to even go further to make sure that they're better connected, not just inside themselves, but across all of them.
Okay.
And that's really the future for us, is getting what we call horizontal integration across all Air Force weapon systems and ground systems.
Okay. Well, and speaking of longevity, of course, we have a B-52 on the ramp here this year. That airplane has seen some upgrades through the years as well. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
and it's still flying.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because just yesterday I spent 2 hours with the commander of Air Force Global Strike Command, General Tom Bussier, walking through two of his largest B-52 modernization programs. So when you look at that B-52 that's over there at Boeing Plaza, we're re-engineering it.
Yeah.
And so that thing's been around a while. We're going to keep it going probably till 2080. It's not going. It turns out that airframe's got a lot of life left in it. It's a very robust airplane. Sat alert for a number of years, so it's got a lot of life in it. It's very capable, but we do need to re-engine it. So we're working on a major effort to re-engine it, to put to Rolls-Royce engines in it, and then we're also working to put a new radar in it. And so, the radar. There's actually a radar in a bomber.
Yeah.
So we're working that. About 10 years ago, we put a lot of interconnected communications mods in it. So if you looked into a B-52 cockpit today, it looks nothing. It might look like it did on the outside, but on the inside, it's completely different. And we're continue to evolve it. And that's pretty typical of most of our weapon systems. So today's F-15 is nothing like the one from the 70s. Pick any weapon system that you see. It might look the same on the outside, but on the inside, it's very, very different.
And Material Command is involved in helping that move forward.
Yeah, so Material Command, another way of thinking of the Air Force Material Command is it's really, it runs the life cycle. So it's responsible for life cycle management of all of our airplanes, not just our airplanes, but
everything.
Pretty much all the equipment that we use. But we're responsible for that. One aspect that's probably worth noting is the airworthiness aspects. And so some of our airplanes are airworthiness certified through the FAA. Some of them we actually airworthiness certify ourselves, and it really depends because we actually fly. Some of our airplanes are commercial derivatives.
Okay.
Like the KC-46 is actually our newest tanker is actually a derivative of the Boeing 767.
Yep.
And so in that case, we'll work with the FAA to certify the KC-46. But other things like the F-35 fighter, that there's not a commercial variant, we will self-certify that one.
Very good. General Duke Richardson, Commander of Air Force Material Command from Wright-Patt, and glad to have you at the show, and hope you get a chance to get out and see some airplanes.
Yes, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate talking
to you. Thank you. This is Eaa Radio.
You're listening to EAA Radio, online at eaaradio.net, the voice of EAA.
Green Bay Austin Strabo International Airport is proud to sponsor EAA Radio. They look forward to visiting with you in Hangar C while you're here. GRB is just 50 minutes north of Oshkosh. 2 FBOs with 280,000 feet of hangar space, fuel, and maintenance on site. 5 major airlines serve 11 nonstop routes, and all major car rental brands. Enjoy EAA and explore all that Northeast Wisconsin has to offer. FlyGRB.com.
EAA Radio is streaming onto the World Wide Web 24/7 all year long. Once you get to Oshkosh, you can hear us on AM 1210 and FM 96.5. In fact, you can preset your FM radio right now to 96.5. Go ahead, right now, 96.5. I'll wait.
Listening to EAA Radio.
And there we are, EAA Radio, AM 1210 and FM 96.5.
This is Digital Dave.
I'm Fast Eddie.
And this is Hot Start.
Yeah, unfortunately for all of you out there listening to us. But we have good news. I'm proud to introduce a new segment here today on Hot Start. It's the Vic Krause Show.
Yeah.
Hello,
Mornings
everybody.
with Mr.
Glad
Caffeine.
to be here. We're going to rename the show Wet Start.
Wet Start.
Yeah.
Well, that's apropos.
Well, if anybody or anything got hit by lightning out there, you'd really be a new definition to the term hot start.
So, yeah, we were setting up this morning. You know, we got all those flags and stuff. So I told Jimmy, one of the boys, Jimmy Leach, I said, Jim, would you mind go out in there and put up the poles? We got 20 flag poles. They sit 20 feet in the air, aluminum, what? He goes, Vic, don't you think I ought to wait until the lightning stops?
Yes.
I said,
you'll be
turning
fine.
into a wuss. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Great day yesterday up at the tram tour. Processed just a phenomenal number of riders. And these people braved a really hot afternoon. And thank goodness for the canopies that our sponsors put up for us to give those folks some shelter and shade. But we had up to 150, 175 people in line yesterday.
Oh, wow. Do you have a number for how many you ran through the whole tour?
Yesterday we ran somewhere in the neighborhood of 30-some tours, so 30, just about 1,000 people yesterday.
That's impressive.
1,500, that sound about right. 30, 90, 100 times, yeah, probably.
I don't do math this early in the morning.
30 times 100, what's that?
That's 3,000.
Thank you. I knew I screwed up. 3,000. That was a record. Right there was
a record.
That is
Absolutely
fantastic.
is. Another thing too, a large number of youngsters, and that's my deal. I want to see the wide-eyed F1 irises of the young kids when they get on the tram and take that tour. You know, the old guys, they've seen it all and done it all, and they're more than welcome. We take a lot of vets and seniors and what the heck, but the youngsters, that's what I'm. In fact, so today, Wednesday, this is the 26th. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Top cover day at the tram tour. Okay?
Top cover.
Your hat.
Oh.
Here's the deal. Concord, Covington, Hartzell, Tempest Aero Group. They all ponied up a pretty substantial number of beautiful hats. Some embroidered, some have, the embossed logos on them. These are not, the $5 throwaways. These are $20 hats. Youngsters, and I mean youngsters, we ain't no senior, nobody's getting these but the youngsters. So they're a giveaway at the tram tour.
Okay.
And we'll probably give out, probably 500 of these hats from all the different sponsors. So that's going on today. Top cover day, big deal, I think. And the kids love the hats. And we make them promise and pinky swear.
Oh, boy.
They're going to wear them all day.
This is some serious conditions here.
Yeah. One of the parents said, last year my kid wore it to bed. So I said, we've indoctrinated him.
He's ours.
He's ours. Another big deal. Can I throw this out?
Sure.
You did say it was my show.
It is your show, yes. We just worked here to make you look good.
Get another cup of coffee, Dave. So anyway, here it is, the gift shop. Brace yourself for this. This has hardly ever happened in the history of EAA. A discount.
Really?
No, I know. This sounds absurd. You probably thought I was struck by lightning
my
on the
heart's
way
palpitating.
over. Yeah, but so here it is. You join Warbirds of America today. You got to be a newbie, a new join, not a renewal or what. But you come in, and they got a 400 square foot membership tent just to the east, right by the, what do you call that, finding tower or wayfinding
tower? Yeah.
Right at the base of the wayfinding tower for Warbirds is a 400 square foot membership headquarters. They've also got a 10-foot banner that says 10% discount on any and all Warbird merchandise at the gift shop with any new membership.
Well, there you go.
So join today and save. So that's going on up there at the gift shop and the membership thing. So everybody keep that in mind. So
this will probably be the first time where the husband goes home and says, "But honey, it was on sale."
Yeah, comes home with a 50 caliber machine gun.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck is he doing, but So memberships, we're trying to drive it. That's kind of our deal. We do the tram tour. It's free, and we provide what I think is one of the premier attractions here at Oshkosh, where you can jump on. You guys have been on it. You for sure firsthand know that we got some great narrators. You hear some really awesome stories that they relate. A lot of it is personal from family members that were in the military. And but nevertheless, at the end of that 30 minutes, you've had a very good experience. I don't know anybody that had a negative one. Okay. And so that being said, and it's free. Did I mention FREE? Free. It doesn't cost. I mean, obviously,
free.
We do not turn away donations. In fact, I'll mooch them as much as I can. and that's another thing I'll throw out there. We had a record day. We have jars, and it says, "Hey, save a warbird, throw in a $5 bill, take one of our beautiful new badges." We made those special with the Warbirds of America logo on it, those real nice badges.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that, but 2-inch, inch and a half badges. They're really a cool looking thing.
Vic.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them yet.
Yes.
Well, when I saw you guys coming, I had them put them all away.
Yes, and the free hats, and the discount.
Yeah.
And then they said they were closed.
Yeah.
They did give you a water, right?
No.
No water? Boy. Well, I'm sorry.
Tough crowd. Hey, how many warbirds do you have up there now? Do you got a count?
Fighter Town's full. So they have talking to Rhonda, she's the big kahuna at Fighter Town, runs that whole operation. And she told me, Vic, we got an issue. This was Monday. I said, what is it? She says, we have 35 or 36 warbirds registered, P-51s, Corsairs, what have you, registered to come in. We only have 31 parking places. I said, what a great problem. So it ended up, if you noticed out there by runway 5, the tarmac, they've got a number of big prop, like Corsair-sized airplane, Bearcat, what they are, and they're parked out there. They just didn't have room for them in Fighter Town.
Wow.
So good problem, right?
Yeah,
Well, Vic, I was out there on Monday.
Yeah.
You had 6 Corsairs,
Yeah.
15 Mustangs, and 2 B-40s. Quite a collection.
I think they were up to 8 Mustangs yet. Sorry, erase. They were up to 8 Corsairs yesterday.
Wow.
And yesterday was a big day for Warbirds in Review. Bud Anderson down there at 1 o'clock doing the Old Crow, spiel, his stories. The guy's 101, a buck one, 101 years old.
Yeah.
And he was out in that sun. So don't let me hear you two guys complaining it was hot if you have to stand in line for an hour again.
We'll just mutter under our breath.
Do that. Do the muttering. That's a good thing. But the heat, we're responding. We do, and we want people to be comfortable. I don't like seeing people discomfortable.
Especially when they pass out.
One of our members, a guy by the name of Mike Pollock, he's a farmer about 50 miles. He's got 150 acres. He's one of my volunteers. He came up. He said, Vic, I got some barn fans. I said, for God's sake, Mike, bring them things. Now, these suckers are 3-4 feet in diameter. Mm-hmm. They run at a fairly low RPM, so they don't make a lot of racket, but they move air. He put 2 of those out there to blow on the people to cool them down in the middle of the line. It was pretty cool.
Okay, but when he brought out the feed trough, that's a bit much.